FUNCLE's Customs, where I find all kinds of cars in different places. I usually fix them and flip them, but sometimes I keep them. This is My Garage Revivals.
Today I went to pick up 2 vehicles for our next customer. Hello everybody and welcome back to My Garage Revivals. Right, so as you can see we've got our Ram truck parked outside here at the front gate. So we are going to be loading our 69 Dodge Charger today. We will get to these 2 vehicles up on the lifts in just a little bit. So yes, as you guys know, in the last episode we built this engine for the 69 Charger over here, and we couldn't get it fired up because we didn't have the distributor for this engine. So that is basically what we are going to be doing today. So I did top up the oil and the coolant is sorted out already, as well as the brake fluid. So the only thing I really needed to install was the battery tray, which I had to order a brand new one because we didn't have one laying around in the shop. So we're going to get this thing mounted and we're going to connect up our battery and then obviously the distributor, and then this thing should hopefully fire up and run quite smoothly. All right, so let's get this bolted down and just like that. And then I'm going to grab the screwdriver for this because this distributor actually secures or it tightens down with a screw. So we are just going to bolt it down or screw it down like that. And let's pop our plug leads on. This will go on over there. And then I'm pretty confident this thing's going to fire up now without any problems. So let's maybe jump in and hope for the best. As you can see, I also mounted the driver's seat that we have for this car. So let's just keep our fingers crossed this thing is going to fire up, no problem. I did put a little bit of gas in it. As you can see, we've got about a quarter of a tank over there. Alright, so yeah, she actually fired up quite easily. Alright, so now I'm going to see if I can get this thing up onto our Ram truck without causing any damage. So I can already feel there's quite a bit of power on this car. It's got a 454 big block. It's got a stroker crankshaft, and also it's got a drag camshaft in it, and also some forged pistons. So this thing should make some decent power. Alright, let's just see how we did at parking this thing. Alright, I think it's safe to go just down the road, so luckily we don't have to go far. So yeah, I'm just going to close up the shop quickly. I believe the other door is still closed on this side. Let's just double check. Alright, so yes, we are good to go. So let's jump into this thing and get this thing dropped off at Richards Autobody. I believe they should be open already. It's past 8 o'clock. Alright, so there we go. Let's get this thing fired up and deliver it to Richards Autobody. Luckily just down the road. Alright, so here we are, and we are going to lower our ramps down. We're going to fire this machine up and we are going to pull it straight into the paint booth. So they say they are ready to start working on this. Let me just see if I can jump onto here. There we go. Yeah, that is a little bit high, but we managed to get up here. Alright, and let's get the e-brake off. Fire it up. And let's pull it down slowly. It's got a lot of power. Right, I actually wonder if this thing is going to smoke the tires. So let's give it a little bit of a burnout over here, just for fun. Well, it definitely does a burnout. Alright, so this thing is actually going to be a lot of fun once we get it finished. Yeah, let's try and not wreck it before it's completely finished, but yeah, it definitely has got a lot of power. It definitely shifts. So I think that is going to be the major selling point for this car, whoever is going to buy it. Alright, and there we go. We've got our 1969 Dodge Charger in the paint booth. So my idea for this thing is we are going to paint it in the factory color, which is this light green color. And for the interior, we are going to be installing a gray interior that I found, brand new for this thing. So I think that is going to look very nice with the gray on the interior. And also, obviously, we're going to get all of the parts we are missing, like this taillight. And also some new marker lights for the front. So we've got some marker lights missing over there. And also we're going to get a new dashboard, so our headlights should work as well. So hopefully the next time we see this thing is going to look a little bit different. So they're also going to take care of all the rust for us. So yeah, I think that is definitely going to be something to look forward to once we get this vehicle sorted. Alright, so let's get our ramp stuck back in, and then I will get you guys when we are back at the shop, because we've got quite a little bit of a project on our hands over there. Alright, so we are back at our shop, and today I've got the little trailer in here as well, because I'm going to be disposing of a couple of things today. As I saw, there's a bunch of stuff in the back of this truck that the owner actually sent to me. He said we can keep everything we find back there, but I did have a brief look at it. So the guy's name is Lacko, and he's currently in my Discord server. So if you are not familiar with the Gamers Edge Discord server, there is a link to that down in the description of this video. So click that link and become part of our huge community. So guys, what we need to do today is see if we can get this thing stripped down. And obviously that truck over there is a donor vehicle for this. This one is a little bit of a longer wheelbase, or I don't know if we really call it a wheelbase, but it's a little bit longer frame than the one we currently have over here. So that is the reason why we are restoring that one. So we are basically going to be using this one for parts to get this thing up and running, because Lacko wants us to build him a ramp truck like the one we've got over there. So obviously, as you can see, this thing has been in a front end accident. So there's not a lot of parts left that are salvageable on this thing. I think the cab might actually be good still, but I think once we start getting into this thing, we'll figure out what is really going on. So what I'm going to do is just basically start stripping off this front end, because there's obviously a lot of damage here, and we need to see what is basically going on over here and what really is the extent of the damage. So I already did check it under. We've got a bad frame rail on the right hand side, so I ordered a brand new one of those already. So that is going to be going onto this truck. Hopefully in this episode we'll be able to get that sorted out. So yes, I think let's start by stripping this thing first of all, and then we can see how far the damage went. So I actually do think we should take off this hood as well. So now the little trailer we've got in the shop is basically for all of these mangled parts. And also there are some rusted parts in the back of that truck we need to dispose of. So yeah, let's start by undoing all of these bolts and see what we are working with. We've got a very badly damaged radiator over here. That is almost as flat as a pancake. Alright, and then I believe this front end or radiator support should come off like this. Just like that. That is badly mangled. This fender actually doesn't look too bad on this side, so it looks like the impact was more on the passenger side. Alright, so let's see We'll put the potentially good parts on this side in a corner. Because, yeah, who knows, we might actually need some parts eventually if we do decide to take on a project like this for ourselves. Alright, so here we've got a inner fender, or what they call the front left panel, which is rusty, so that is going to be disposed of. Alright, so, and this fender is definitely mangled beyond repair, so that is going in the trash as well. Alright, so now I think we've got a clear view of what's going on in this engine bay, so let's see if we can get these wires taken off. I think this might actually still be decent. Yeah, it's still usable, but we'll see. We've got a whole donut truck to work on. Alright, so there's no exhausts mounted on this thing, no transmission. So let's see if this is going to work for us if we take this engine out. Alright, so there we go. This is quite a beat up engine. It's definitely missing a lot of parts. But I was told that the engine in this truck does have quite a bit of parts. So we also have got a little bit of spare parts laying around because, as you guys know, I have been working on engines in the last episode. And I actually managed to put this one together, which is probably going to run. It's not perfect. There's like the carburetor on this is quite worn, and also this one cylinder head is quite worn as well, but the engine is complete and it will work. We also do have some spares on that block over there, and I did dispose of all of the other engine blocks that were quite badly worn and damaged, so those have been taken care of. But yes, let's return working on this thing over here. So we're going to take off this whole front end basically, and I think once we get this thing stripped off, we can take the cab off. So the cab, once again, we are going to check what parts we need of this in order to complete that one. So I think let's get under here and unbolt this cab, which has got a rusty floor by the looks of it. Alright, and over here there's another one. Alright, so this cap should come off now. Alright, let me just grab this. Alright, I think we can set it down over there for now. Alright, so let's see if we can continue taking that frame rail off from the right hand side over here. So I believe everything is just bolted on, and I would rather try and put this thing on the floor before we actually take this frame off on this side. So let's get this flatbed removed as well. So this is actually a flatbed that will also work on our ramp truck we've got over there if we were to unbolt the ramp. But I don't really have a need for a flatbed at the moment, but we'll see. The reason why I'm saying this is because Lacko actually told me that all the extra parts that's left after the build is complete, we will be able to keep it and just use it if we need it. So a lot of it will probably just go into storage and just sit around there until we will need it eventually. Alright, so let's start by taking off the suspension on this side. I'm going to try and see if we are going to be able to strip off as little as possible, because obviously there's a lot of parts we don't really have to take off. So let's take this shock absorber off on this side. Just like that. So this one, it still looks like it could work, so we've got a nice flatbed to put the stuff onto now. Alright, so now this taillight mounting over here, we'll get this off as well. That can still work if we get a taillight for it, but on a ramp truck you won't be able to see it anyway, so it's not really something we need to salvage for this build. Alright, and we've got a good, well, not a good one, but a usable leaf spring on that side. But as you can see, the rest of the front suspension is missing on this thing. So we do luckily have quite a bit of parts on that truck, so we should be able to get something put together over here. Alright, so now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower this thing down. and get the ramp out of the way. So let's see if we can get this side sort of free, and then by the time we get that frame cut off or removed, we'll be able to hopefully get the new one installed without a problem. Otherwise, we're going to have to see if we can jack it up with a floor jack. Why did I grab a second wrench? Okay. Right, let's just take this wrench and continue using this one. Okay, so not going to be able to see the bolts like this now. Right, let's just see if we can get to that bolt over there. And we're going to have to take off this one over there. And there's another one there. I think this one is also bolted at the top, if I'm not mistaken. No, it's actually this one. And then if this one comes off over here, is that going to free the frame rail or not yet? Let's see, we might be missing a bolt over here. There it is. Okay, so there's our rusty frame rail. Okay, so it looks good. So let's put it over here. Doesn't look like it's been banged up. And now I actually put this thing in front of the new frame rail. Alright, so let me grab this. Let's not trip over that one. Alright, so this one needs to be spinned around because this is the rear. Alright, let's hope this thing is going to go into place without a problem now. Just like that. Alright, now I just need to bolt everything down again. Alright, so we'll obviously have to replace this one section over here. So we'll get that unbolted and then we'll see what it actually entails in replacing it. So I think these two are the same, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm not going to bother bolting this one down. We'll first see if we can find one from our donor vehicle. The rest of these things, this is the transmission support, so we'll have to replace that. We'll also have to unbolt this drive. Well, it's not really a drive shaft. Alright, yeah, it's a drive shaft, but this is connected to a transfer box. That's the word I was looking for. So we need to replace this transfer box. So I checked on the donor vehicle. We do have a good one of those on the truck. So we'll be able to do that without a problem. Let's just get this drive shaft unbolted. Well, basically all of these drive shafts need to be unbolted. Alright, so let's pop that one over there. And then this one can actually stay on because it's trashed. And there's also a bolt over here somewhere. Let me just see if I can find it. Alright, let's just do it like this. We'll take the whole thing out. Alright, so we should have a good thing like this on our donor vehicle as well. But I do want to take this out, because this is our transmission support brace. And then this one is actually still good. So we could reuse this if we need to, but I think we might have a good one on the truck over there. So I think that is basically as far as we need to strip this thing for now. So we're going to turn our focus to our donor vehicle now. So I'm going to start by undoing the hood over here, because this is going to make the cab top heavy if we try and move it with the hood attached. So let's put our hood down over there. And then we will see if we can unbolt all of these parts, so they should be good. Alright, we'll start with the grill. It's got 4 bolts. Alright, that is also a good part. And then I think this front bumper shouldn't be a problem. Should be able to get it off without any issues. Alright, we'll set that over there. Alright, I wonder if the radiator can come with this radiator support. Just got to make sure we get the right bolts undone over here. So they are these ones over here. Alright, so in case you are wondering, this truck is a little bit shorter than the one we are going to restore for Lacko. So we could actually come and pop this thing on already. And this should give us an indication if our frame rail on the left is fine. It looks like it is. So as I said, this truck looks like it was more damaged on the right hand side. So yeah, that is already coming together. So this is actually not going to be such a huge job as I thought. Alright, so let's get this unbolted over here. This should come with the fender, which is going to save us a little bit of unbolting time. Alright, and we'll mount that. Just like that. That is perfect. Alright, so let's do the other side over here. First of all, let's get this battery taken out. Might have to use this battery in that truck. Yeah, it still looks like it works. Alright, and then over here we've got basically our wiring that we need to take off. We should also be able to get this engine up and running. Looks like it's quite complete. We also have got a good transmission in this thing. Right, so there's the wiring. So let's just see. Yeah, that wire is definitely in better condition than the one we took off the truck. Alright, so let's get this one unbolted as well. Right, so this can go over to our truck over here. And let's get it bolted on. Just like this. Alright, so that is already starting to come together. So now I think if I yank this cap off, we should be able to just pop it onto that frame. And it should fit perfectly. And then this is also going to give us some access to the parts we also need to replace on our truck. Obviously, we're going to have to unbolt the master cylinder over here. And that should allow me to lift it up like this. Right, let's come over here, put it down on here. Alright, let's get it bolted down. Alright, and then let's go around the other side. Alright, so this is a little bit tricky getting under here now. We should actually try and lift this thing up again. Alright, but I should be able to guess where this bolt is. Oh, I can actually see it from there. Alright, so let's set our wrench down. So I want to try and see if we can get this thing lifted up again. Might actually have to push it under the frame like that. Just do the same on this side. Just like that. Right, and let's see what it does if we lift it up now. Well, it definitely works. Alright, so now that we have got our cab on here, obviously we're not going to mount a flatbed on this thing. We should probably start unpacking this truck bed because we need to get this bed removed so that we can see what is basically cooking over here. Alright, so this is our rear bumper for the truck. And then we'll see what else we've got in here. We've got a heavy duty hub on a wheel installed on a heavy duty hub. So this is actually for the front. So we'll see if we can get some dualies for the back, because obviously this axle needs a little bit of TLC. These hubs are going to have to be replaced, and we're going to need to source 4 dually wheels. But that's okay. We will get to that when we get to that. All right, so here's our roof that we now own. This is from a Mercedes Coupe, so this might be something we could probably use in the future, but I might actually take this over to our barn. So let's just put it outside for now. And yes, Hugo is still using my truck. I don't know when he's going to be done with it, but I guess we will see. Maybe next week he'll return, and yeah, then we can at least get our shop truck back. Then we don't need to use the small box trailer as much. Alright, so we've got a good seat for the truck as well. This is just a dark brown. That's a little bit of a beige color. And I think that one has got a blue interior inside. Alright, and here we've got another grill. Oh, we actually do need some of these pieces on this grill. Like this trim on our own shop truck that is currently with Hugo. Alright, let's see. This is a sports seat for a larder. Let's just set it down over here. We might actually find a use for that one day. Alright, so this is a broken spring. A broken caliper. Here's a steering wheel. Got a broken drive shaft. Alright, so that is basically scrap. And we've got an air filter housing over here. And a lid. And it looks like it's got an air cleaner in as well. There's a rocker cover. A rocker panel for a larder by the looks of it. Let's see what else we've got in here. Oh, there's another heavy duty wheel and hub over here. Yeah, that actually looks like it could still work. So yeah, good thing we've got those. So luckily that's going to save us a little bit of money. Alright, so there's another rim like this. I believe that was supposed to be a replacement for that. So here we've got the banged up wheel, which is strangely a different color than the truck. But we don't really know the history of this. Alright, let's go and have a look around here. What else we've got? We've got a trim piece. It looks like it's off an El Camino. We've got a snazzy sports steering wheel. A single brand new piston. That is not something you find loose every day. There's a usable camshaft over here. Alright, so this is an exhaust from a motorcycle, which is very rusty, as you can tell. We've got a broken window lifter for a Mercedes. And that looks like a Mercedes headlight over here. Alright, so there we go. We've got a spare headlight for a Mercedes. And then, last but not least, we've got a tie rod over here, which is fairly decent. Okay, not sure where we are going to use that, but we never know. Alright, let me just get this wrench now again. Right, so let's get this truck bed removed. So there are also 6 bolts on this. Bolts over there. And there's basically 3 on this side as well. And now we should be able to get this off. Let me just put the wrench down. Alright, and just like that, we've got our cab and we've got our truck bed removed. I might actually just see if we can get this closed up. Alright, so there's a little bit of a busted truck bed. I should actually go and put this outside. Let me see if I can grab it. There we go. Alright, so let's go and put this outside as well. So we don't really have a need for that. Alright, so now we can get to the parts we actually need for the truck we are busy building for Lacko. So let's see, we do need one of these frame braces over here. So let's start with this one. And let's go around this side. Alright, so this one should replace this one we've got that is rusty over here. Yeah, I'm just going to go under this thing. Alright, there we go. It was already loose on this side. So obviously I didn't tighten it up. And then there we go. We've got a replacement part in here. Perfect. Now we just need to get ourselves a transmission support brace from our donor vehicle here, but we do have a transmission on here. So let's get this removed. And would you look at that, we've got a carburetor over here. Let me just pop this on here. That's interesting. We should be able to get this engine running quite easily now that I look at it. We've got quite a bit of parts. There's an air cleaner there already. Alright, so let me continue with this. Let's get this removed as well. So another bolt there, and we've got that out. So we are going to need a new drive shaft, by the looks of it, because this one is also very rusty. Yeah, and also this transfer case is shot, but luckily we do have this one, which is good. We just need to get this drive shaft removed from here, then we can get that replaced as well. So let's see if we can get this taken off with the transfer case installed. Alright, let's go around the other side over here. Alright, so those bolts are the ones we needed to do first. Alright, there we go. So this can go into our truck. Alright, so this one goes over here. Let's bolt that down. Alright, let's go get the transmission one removed. So in order to get this off, we're going to have to take off the transmission, obviously. Right, just like that. And I already undid those bolts. I was getting a little bit confused with all the bolts on this thing. Alright, so let's remove this and then... Yeah, it's probably going to have to come off first of all. So we'll take off the transmission. Oh, actually, I think I might have missed some bolts on the transmission, but that's fine. We'll get that transferred over as well. And then this goes over here. It's bolted down. Alright, let's go get this transmission. What is holding this thing in, actually? I do want to take off this gas tank, because this gas tank is good. The one on our truck is a little bit busted. Or on the truck we are building. Let's not get confused over here. Okay, so there we go. That is basically the suspension and stuff like that we need to do still. So I think let's start by digging into this front suspension. See if we can take this off and get this transferred over. Alright, so I'll get this axle removed. Right, so there's our front leaf spring, which is a little bit beat up. But I actually do have two brand new leaf springs for this truck, which I bought for our ramp truck, obviously. Okay, so let's continue. We've got pretty much this holding it down. Let's unbolt over there. And let's unbolt this over there. And that should come off. That's our steering box. Okay, and yeah, I'm not going to bother with the engine just yet. We will get that removed maybe over the weekend sometime. I will get that sorted out. Right, so there's no brake line on that side. So these are all loose. So what is holding this thing in? Let's just see, it's probably this shock absorber over here. We don't have a shock absorber on this side. Okay, so let's take this off. And there we go. So that's our front axle ready to go into our truck over here. Right, so I do want to come and grab this brand new leaf spring we've got over here. It's always good keeping parts like this around if you've got it. Alright, and then we'll bolt it down on here. Just like that. And over there. And then this one, I'm going to remove it. So that we can see what it is. Alright, so that is also a little bit worn. So we'll replace it with the new one. Because we do have another new one for the front. Alright, so there's our new leaf spring installed. Just need to bolt it down. Just like that. And then I think we can basically put this on. Now we are going to have to service this front axle completely. See if all the components and the brakes and everything is fine. But I think for the moment we just want to try and get this thing sitting on its own wheels again. So we are going to bolt down all the parts we've got. We've got another shock absorber over here, which we can install on the other side. Obviously just for the time being. Alright, let's get that bolted down. And let's come over here and bolt that down. Alright, so let's see that brake line we've got on this thing. I think it's just held in by this one brake hose over here. Maybe there's one on the other side. Okay, so let's take that off as well. Let's grab this. Let's get that put into place. Okay, so I'm just going to tie it down over here for now on this brake hose. Because I do want to replace the master cylinder we've got over here. Let's just go down a little bit. Right, so luckily I did keep the old one of our charger, which is in a better condition. So that is over here on the shelf. So let's get this one installed, because this one at least isn't as rusty as that one. So we will have some good brakes at least once we put this thing back together. Alright, so let's grab all of these nitty gritty things we took off as well. Alright, so this is bolted down on there and once again on there. Alright, so now I think we can tackle this rear suspension. So we've got a bad leaf spring over here, which we can take off. And this axle might actually drop down now, so we'll just put it over here for now. Alright, and then over there, I'll loosen this. And now I'm just going to see which leaf springs we have are the best ones for the rear. I think there are some on this truck as well. So let's see how this one is. Alright, and 4 bolts over here. And this thing should come out. Alright, it's not the best, but it's still feasible to use it. Okay, and then on this side, take off this one and just check the condition of this. Yeah, that's a little bit better than the other one we've got over there, so we'll reuse this one. Okay, and then bolt it down, bolt that down, and we'll come and grab this one. Okay, and bolt it down over there and over there. And then I think we should be able to get our axle put back into place, because this is a good axle we've got over here. Right, just like that. Alright, so obviously we need to service this rear brake and axle system and hub and everything. So let's get all of these rusty old parts removed first of all. So that's our heavy duty hub. Can come off, and then we've actually got a good hub in here, so we'll leave this one in. We do need to get a brake drum for this side and check the brake shoes on the other truck as well. So we are going to try and use what we can of the donor vehicle. Alright, and then we'll take this hub out, because this hub is obviously far gone. So hopefully we've got a good hub on our truck over there. Alright, so this brake shoe doesn't look too thin, but these brake hoses are definitely very bad. Same on this side. I saw this one was also quite bad. There it is. Okay, and then we will also take off this handbrake cable, because that is also looking bad. Right, let's see what we've got on our donor vehicle over here. Do we have a good differential in here? Yes, we do. Okay. And then over here we've got a good handbrake cable. Let's come and grab this. Right, let's get this installed. Yeah, I think we could actually probably try and service this rear suspension now, because I think we've got everything we need right over here. Let's unbolt this wheel as well. And we're going to need a screwdriver for that. So let me bring the toolbox over here for now. Right, so this hub, by the looks of it, is also bad, but we've got a decent brake drum. Alright, so that shock absorber is a little bit rusty, but I want to see if we can at least get some shocks on this thing. Let's just check. Do we have a good shock on over here? No, we do not. So we need a shock absorber, basically, because the one over here still seems to be good, but we will use the rusty one for now. Alright, and then this axle should actually drop down. Yeah, I think it's going to be easier for us to just move it over here. Alright, let's take this wheel off, and hopefully we've got a good hub under here. And it looks like we do. That doesn't look too bad. Alright, let's get our screwdriver over here and grab our toolbox. Alright, and we'll take this off. Here's another decent brake drum we can reuse. And let's just grab this one as well. Just put that over there. Okay, and let's grab our shock absorber over here. And we'll also grab that wheel now. Let's just put this into our backpack to carry it over that side. Okay, and put it down over here, and we'll get these shocks installed. I might actually have a shock laying around, but I will check that over the weekend. For now, I just want to see if I can get this thing basically put together again, so that once our ramp actually comes, we can just basically bolt that down. Alright, and then bolt it down over there and up here. Perfect. Alright, so let's get this hub removed. Okay, so this needs to go into this axle. Alright, and then let's maybe do this quickly. We've got to get our pry tool. So I'm just going to check for the best brake shoes out of all of these. That doesn't look too bad. So we'll just compare it with the other ones on the other side. That one is a little bit thin. That one isn't too bad, so these are good. Alright, so this one still seems decent. That one seems to be decent. Yeah, these actually, they don't look too bad. Alright, so let's just skip that whole process and get our brake drums mounted on both sides. We will check for some brake hoses on that as well. We've got a good brake hose here. So we could use that, and we could also use this. Alright, and then I'm going to need the screwdriver first of all over here. Let's get this bolted down. And also over there. Okay, let's get the brake hoses mounted. Alright, these things are a little bit finicky to get to. There we go, and over on that side. And let's grab the other one for the other side. Hey, it's starting to get a little bit foggy outside, but that's okay. Alright, and over there, bolt it down and just bolt it down. Okay, so all of these bolts are snug. And now we can put on some wheels. Alright, and then let's just move that out of the way for now. Alright, so there we have it. We've got a fairly decent assembled truck over here. Actually just saw a shock absorber over here. What is this? So we've got a good rear shock absorber for here. So let's swap this out quickly. Actually forgot about those parts over there. Right, and over there, there's one more thing I did want to check. So let's quickly unbolt this diff over here. Differential. Yeah, I think diff is a abbreviated word for a differential. Alright, so it's not too bad, but I do want to see if this one is in better shape. Alright, and that it is. So we'll rather put this one on over there. And there's a bolt over there. Alright, so I think that's all of those bolts. Alright, and that hub is also wasted. So we've got some decent parts actually that's going to be sitting around. So we've got a rear differential we can probably get mounted now. Is this the correct one? This is for the front. So that can go in there. And I actually should have just lifted the truck up a little bit. That's okay. We should be able to squeeze out here. Alright, so yeah, let's just lift this thing up a little bit now. Right, so where's this rear drive shaft? I think it's over here. Somewhere. Oh, I put it over there. Okay, perfect. We'll just grab it from here. Alright, so this is the correct drive shaft for this truck. And let's get that put into there, and then we'll bolt it down over here. Alright, so that is actually coming together very nicely. Alright, let's put this thing back down. Alright, perfect. But now as I'm looking at the time, I think that is basically going to be a wrap for this episode. Yeah, I'm pretty much going to clean up a little bit and see what parts are going to be actually put onto the ramp truck over here. And I also want to see if I can find a ramp like we've got on our truck for this thing. And then hopefully we can rebuild the engine and also get the transmission installed. And also order a couple of parts that we need. Some odd things like these drive shafts we have both here are a little bit bad. So we'll rather get a new one of those. But yeah, as you can see, we've got a lot of good parts, extra parts. A lot of them are basically trash, but that is pretty much what you can expect from a vehicle that has been sitting for quite a while, because obviously that thing hasn't been running for a while. But yeah, that is going to be a wrap for this episode. So thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate every view, every like. And also, I wanted to ask, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. I will appreciate it very much. But yes, until the next time, cheerio!